Hello everybody, Kelly Kleinman, N.A.D.A. Show 2020 live from Las Vegas. I have a dealership news pen. If anybody wants a pen, feel free to email me at kelly@dealership. I'm kidding. More importantly, we're with Jason Keith. He is the Grand Poobah of OpLogic, and we've just met Jason today. He's got some very interesting solutions for the automotive industry. Jason, what do you guys have?
Well, thanks, Kelly. I'm the Chief Technology Officer and co-founder of OpLogic. We started about 20 years ago in the summer of '02. I wrote the first line of code with the intention of stopping identity theft in a dealership environment. We have a patented process with a driver's license scan. We can, within 5 seconds, reply back with nearly 100 different possible fraud patterns on identity theft. We hit the marketplace in late 2002. Within the first week, we had customers, we had deals that we were stopping with major fraud patterns. It became very clear that technology worked well within the dealership environment, but absolutely encouraged more functionality that has essentially led us into the CRM space. Once you scan a driver's license and there is no identity theft, how do we push that deal into a desking solution? How do we provide monthly payments? How do we facilitate the credit application into the credit aggregation systems? How do we provide that information directly into the DMS? How do we minimize the double entry if we've taken that driver's license scan and pull the information off and saved the salesperson from that double entry? So 18 years later, we feel very strongly we've got a very competitive, very honest product. We have had customers in handcuffs perpetuating identity theft, and we take a lot of great pride in that. And now we are essentially engaging some of the forefront of consumer engagement with our project, with not only CRM functionality, but with engaging tools in the digital retailing space to encourage a conversation with the remote customer to optimize that transaction.
Are you launching anything specific for 2020?
We are, yeah. In fact, we completely rewrote our desking tool using some of the newer libraries. It's funny, in the software space, when you write a line of code, that line of code is really only good for about 5 years, and it's only cutting edge for about 2. So we've really found that a lot of our competitors, including us, a lot of our older tools and functionality, we've had to completely rewrite it. Our desking tool was no exception. So within the last year, we have launched that in a number of stores, very high volume stores. We've gotten a lot of strong feedback from not only the prime market, but a lot of subprime stores. And so we've, with that new code, we've added a lot of functionality that we couldn't have before without this new technology. Digital retailing being a very strong example.
Right.
Yeah, and we've integrated in the video platforms. We've got a very strong partner in the car film application that we've been able to integrate in. Again, trying to deliver an experience to the consumer that optimizes what the dealer wants to convey, which is a good deal on a vehicle that they currently have on their lot. And so those tools are not easy to write, and obviously you have to see that traction with the customer, to tweak that interface. I mean, you need to see it in action.
Let me ask you a question. I love asking this one. It's sort of a jump ball question. If you had to have a buzzword or two that was significant in your particular category, what would that one or two buzzwords be?
That describes OpLogic, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, obviously CRM is a big buzzword. That is just that data has become so lucrative recently. I'd say 10 years ago the buzzword was DMS. The DMS had all the consumer information, but what we found is that's only on customers that purchased the vehicle. Now the data analytics and the metrics aren't into who bought the car, but who didn't buy the car, and that information is not making it to the DMS. So CRM is still a very strong buzzword. That data needs to be leveraged, and it needs to be shared in this larger data model, and OpLogic has it. We've got our own internal proprietary databases that really help leverage it. So CRM is still a very strong buzzword. The other buzzword that you'll find in the industry, at least the last couple of years, is indeed digital retailing. There's a number of horses in this race, and each horse seems to have their own bells and whistles, and there's some that have shown more progress than others, but it still comes down to how are consumers engaging with it, and I think all partners and players in the industry have seen that it is a single percentile of people that are engaging with those tools and actively going through the entire process. It's an extremely intimidating process to purchase a car.
Yeah.
And that the digital retailing space is not seeing a large-scale buy-in by consumers. Obviously, do I think that it's not going to be the wave of the future? Certainly, you're going to find the newer generation of millennials are going to engage more with these tools than the initial one-to-one handshake marketing that a dealership offers today. However, those tools do need to be smarter. We feel we have a competitive edge with the digital retailing tools that we're offering because it still allows the dealer to communicate the deal structure as they see fit through the communication with that customer and delivering very simple options for the customer, very simple interface where the customer can easily choose the one or two payment options on the vehicle that they've already shown interest in so that you get a much larger buy-in from consumers because there's not nearly the complexity in that interface. So we'll see where it's going to go, but the future obviously is delivering a quicker, easier way for consumers to purchase vehicles remotely.
Yeah, it's interesting. In Asia, about 95% of customers buy online specifically. It's remarkable. It's tougher. There's not a dealership on every corner in places like China, so it makes it's a little bit of a different situation, different scenario. But yeah,
absolutely. As in, there are all kinds of polls, and there's numbers, and there's predictions, and there's doomsday predictions on what's going to happen to the franchise model when you have unfranchised marketing models that are selling cars today, and then you have just different ways that customers are engaging a dealership, and there's a lot of people that predict that no one's going to walk into a dealership in 15 years from now and dealers are going to have to completely change their model. I still believe in 15 years, even if autonomous vehicles are driving people to where they need to be, there's still going to be a 65-year-old man from Hutchinson, Kansas, that's going to want to walk in, shake hands with their longtime salesperson, understand the numbers that they have, and they're going to purchase the vehicle from that dealer, and they're going to take pride in the ownership of that vehicle. I don't think that's going to change for 50 years. But you have to adapt your software to the different segments of how consumers are engaging with stores. No question.
I totally agree. And by the way, that guy's name is Marty. Jason Keith, OpLogic, Kelly Kleinman, Dealership News. Get that right. OpLogic, Kelly Kleinman, Dealership News.
Thank you, Kelly.
Pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, it really was.
Good
Thanks
luck.
for your time.
You bet.
Thank you.